Hi everyone. It's early Thursday morning. We're just getting ready for the Voyager Flute Festival coming up this Friday. So today's Thursday morning, about 4 o'clock. I've been working on this double flute, getting it put together for the Voyager Flute Festival that's taking place this coming weekend down in Tucson, Arizona. And I wanted to just show it to you because just in case it sells down there, I really want to have a video and some photos of this flute because it's something that I'm really excited about, and I really want to share with you. And I want to create a web page. One of my goals in this year at least, I'll say this year, even though I think I'm going to have it done in next month, but we'll say this year. I should have this web page done, and it will be talking specifically about the double flutes that we make. And in 2002, I started making double flutes in this sort of fashion, the over-under double flute. This is the first of its kind. I'll bring it in a little closer so you can see it. This is a Rustic double classic, and it has the easy clean mouthpiece on it. So the mouthpiece has got, this is the first time we've used the nickel silver tubing, which right now I really like it a lot. It's got nickel silver tubing on the mouthpiece, and then inside the flute bodies it has nickel silver tubing. And so that allows you to, when you're done playing the flute, blow out the moisture and allow this piece to dry and clean. It's a very complex air path to get the air from the mouthpiece, which is, you can see there's one mouthpiece that sticks up a little bit and one that goes down a little bit. The one that sticks up a little bit goes to the top flute. The one that goes down goes to the bottom flute. And so this is typically on the right hand side of the flute, and this is on the left. Now I could switch that on this because, you know, the mouthpiece comes off, but it also allows me to get all the moisture out of the flute, so that I can clean and dry the flute. And moisture problems, something that prior to this invention, the easy clean mouthpiece, prior to this, it would take a lot of work to get a double flute dry, and of course you risk cracks and things like that when you have moisture in your flutes. And so obviously we like to keep our flutes as dry as we can, even though we breathe out water every time we play our flutes. So the mouthpiece just simply goes into the flute like this, and then can come out again. But what I thought I'd show you this video tonight because I don't know if the flute's going to sell at the festival or not, and if it does, I don't want to miss the opportunity to just share it with you. And so let me get the totems. While I was tying on this totem, I thought, gosh, I really ought to show people how I like to tie on the bottom totem and the top totem as well. And what I do is I simply put the leather around the flute first, and I get the ends kind of even. And I'll step back a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more view here. And then I put the flute on, the totem on, and I make a little cross on the top of the totem, and I just pull it tight, a little bit tight, and then I put my overhand knot in the flute, turn the flute upside down, and do the cinch as I've shown in so many videos, and as you can see in the flute care video on my website. And then I'm going to go ahead and position the totem for play about a dime's width back from the edge, just like so. So there's the bottom. I want to get it all squared up. I'm trying to do this without my reading glasses on, and I really ought to just give myself a break and put them on so I can see properly. Okay, great. Now I'll go ahead and get the top flute, and we'll get that tied on. Now this top flute is a little bit different. It has holes in the flute. This is a new Woodpecker Totem, by the way, for our Rustic flute. I really like it. It was this design was created by Ty, and he's a young Navajo man that works with us, and it's a beautiful design. It's really, I like it a lot more than our previous design. I liked our previous design too, but this one just, I don't know, it has a flair to it that I really dig. And so to tie this one on, I'm just going to put one leather strap through to begin with. Then I'll go ahead and put the flute on, or the totem on the flute. Being as I've been working in the shop for I don't know how many hours now, I hope you forgive me if I'm a little bit clumsy in my attempts here. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to bring that out. For me, I typically am right-handed. I'm a bit ambidextrous and play with my left hand down, but I like to bring the leather out because I'm holding the flute in my underneath my left arm. I like to bring the leather out on the right hand, or on so that it's, I guess it's actually on the left hand side of the flute, but so that I can access it easily with my right hand, and I can see what's going on. And I get the leathers relatively evened out, and then I simply put my overhand knot in here. Now, because the flute is over under, if I put the knot on the very bottom, I don't know, the leather straps kind of get in the way of the totem, and they just cause problems. It's not a big deal, but it bothers me when I'm playing if the knot is on the very bottom of the flute. But I don't want the flute, I don't want the totem, or excuse me, I don't want the knots on this flat surface, because they won't be able to tie tight if it's on the flat surface. If it's on the curved surface, then the tensions in the leather will hold that knot really well. Just a simple overhand knot. And so when I tighten this up, I'm going to tighten it up, and I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so that that knot is on the curved surface of the flute body, and that helps just keep it nice and tight and lets the knot be nice and snug. Now I'll go ahead and position the totems again, and again about a dime's width back from the edge is where the flutes are designed to play. And now this baby's ready to rock and roll. And so I like the flutes to be right dead on the same note. And I may need to do a little bit of adjusting on the tuning. This is the first time I put it together and played it outside the shop. So the bottom flute is a little bit sharp to the top flute, and I'll make those adjustments here in just a minute off video, so that the flutes play exactly where I want them to play. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and jump up to my favorite position on the double flutes, which is like this, with the bottom 3 holes uncovered, and the top flute has nothing covered. And this allows me to play one hand down, one hand up. And that lets me play it as a double flute. It's just so awesome. So this is a double Rustic classic. First time, like I said, that we've done the double flute, or done the Rustic classic as a double. And any of the classics can be made as a double flute. The reason this is a big deal, to me is that double flutes can get expensive really, really fast. You basically have two flutes, so you're paying for two flutes, and then you are paying for joining the flutes together, joining the two flutes together. That the joining of the two flutes is $400 to do, to make this mouthpiece and the saddles and whatnot. To do the easy clean mouthpiece, that's an additional $300 to create this easy clean mouthpiece. But when you're investing in an instrument like this, it really is a huge advantage for the longevity of the instrument. Being able to keep it dry and clean is a real big advantage. And so, so this particular flute, now I could be a little bit off on my numbers because, as I say, it's a little bit late. But I think the Rustic sells for $450. So let's just say that it's for $450 for this example. So so the Rustic double flute, this particular flute, would be $450 twice, which is $900 plus $400 to join it together. So that brings us up to $1,300, and then we add $300 on for the easy clean mouthpiece, makes it $1,700 for this flute. And I am just so excited about this. I love the roughness of the Rustic. I love the hand carved look and the texture of the instrument. I really love it. They sound great. I personally, I like the sound of the Sunrise Classic, probably the best of all of my classic flutes. I think it just has a really warm but strong projection voice. But the Rustics also play really great. This particular Rustic is made out of oak, and so if you wanted, just for example, if you wanted a double flute, but you wanted to keep the cost down, you could do a double cedar classic, and let's just take it in the key of G. This particular flute is in the key of G, so let's just use a key of G as an example. A double or a cedar classic in a G is $320, so double that, that's $640, and then put the $400 on to join it all together, get the leather fringe and the leather strapping that covers the bottom holes, and that brings the cost up to $1,040. If you wanted the easy clean on that flute, then it would be $1,340. And so that kind of gives you an idea of the range of prices on the flutes. Now, if you went really crazy and wanted to do something, like the Gratitude flute out of Brazilian rosewood as a double flute, then you would be looking at a much larger number, because you would be double the price of this gorgeous instrument. So, but my hope with this video is just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea about how do the double flutes work, and how do you figure the cost, and how do you budget out for the cost on the double flutes, and what are possible options. I'm making a double. I've made several double Maple Burrow classics, and they are phenomenal. They're awesome. I love them. And so anyways, I hope that gives you a little bit of information, is kind of fun, and have a wonderful day. If you're going to Voyager, I can't wait to see you, and we'll talk to you soon.